Hello people, I'm Ginny Metheral, I'm a 4th generation witch. Today we're back with my ever popular Almanac series looking at what witchcraft you can do on which day and why during the month of September. So as always with these videos, what I like to do is to give you a general overview of the witchcraft trends that happened throughout the month of September. And then we'll get into the day-to-day nitty-gritty of what witchcraft you can do on which day and why throughout the month. So with that said, let's start with my introduction. September is a month which is ruled by the moon, and in fact it's a moon month. There is lots happening. We're going to start off the fact with the moon is in Virgo. Now Virgo is all about balance and harmony, which is great because the equinox, all about balance and harmony, is also in September. This is also the second moon in a row that is in Virgo, which is a rare occurrence. Virgo moons call us homeward. They are about resetting yourself and just sort of getting into that balance and equanimity of spirit that you require, and that helps when we're at home. The full moon on the 7th of September is a rare lunar eclipse, a full lunar eclipse, and the new moon on the 21st is in Virgo, which is the second new moon in Virgo in a row, and this is around and on almost the equinox, and therefore our witchcraft will look towards the moon to guide us in this coming month. So if you're a moon witch, which I sort of am. I mean, I love the sun, and but the moon it holds a special place in all of our hearts, does it not? Get you outside and do your workings with the moon this month. Now, as we all know, as witches, September is not just the start of autumn, we are midway through. It's the second of the 3 months of autumn. The first started in August, where we cut the corn. So we are reaping in our second harvest with the harvest of the fruits and the berries, etc., etc. So it's a lovely month of abundance, September. Now, when you have a month of abundance, it's a great time to rejoice and be grateful. So have a party. And in fact, I'm having a party this month with all my family. We've got 100 odd people turning up into the field by my house in order to force me to make them food. I have no idea what's happening. I'm quite nervous about it, in fact, so wish me luck. September does have a sort of new broom feel to it, a bit like the new year, doesn't it? Because it is all about bottling and preserving and giving thanks and preparing ourselves for the start of winter. September brings in that autumnal feel, which is a busy time of the year, fun and busy. It is a time for offerings, though, and parties and, getting together. And so that's why the Anglo-Saxons used to call September Haligmonath, which means the month of offerings. Elder trees are also in berry during the month of September. Now, these are not the frothy, gorgeous elder flower trees that we saw in June. These are elderberry trees, and they're normally the transfigured form of a sorceress. And sorceresses will reach out their long arms and snag weary travellers by with malicious intent. Now, what this means is that should you be collecting elderberries, do not chop down any elderberry tree. Do not destroy it when you're collecting your elderberries, because you will really cause problems, not just for yourself, but for the sorceress who's transfigured in it. Always ask, because you don't know whose berries you're taking, and certainly do not collect any of the fallen wood and use it for kindling, because this invites the devil to dance on your chimney. And one of my favourite aspects of September is the fact that it's a good time for nutting, whatever the nuts you choose. Now, a good year for nutting was said to have a good year for babies. What there's meant by this is that teenagers were invariably sent out to collect the nuts of the hedgerows because they could reach them and they were taller, and predictable results would happen, and hence the babies would arrive. That's why the word nutting has rather vulgar and coarse connotations to it. So that is my overview. If you go a nutting, make sure you use birth control. Look to the moon, because this is a month for the moon, and give thanks for the bounty the earth has produced this year. So let's start with our day-to-day nitty-gritty detail of what witchcraft you can do when and why. And of course we're going to start with the 1st of September. This is the meteorological, if I can ever say that word, start of autumn. Now we've been in autumn for at least a month, but meteorologically they consider it from the 1st. Whatever floats your boat, I reckon, in this situation. The 1st is also the divination day. If it's going to be fair today, it will be fair for the rest of the month. The 3rd of September is a day of marvels, of awe-inspiring marvels. Now, many marvellous things have happened throughout history on the 3rd of September, from battles being won to Helen of Troy being abducted, said to be on the 3rd of September. So it is very much a day of marvels. If something marvellous is going to happen, it will happen today. The 7th September is the night of the full moon. This full moon is in Pisces, and Pisces is an ancient and mystic sign. And this particular moon is an ancient and mystic moon. It's commonly known as the harvest moon. Now, on the 7th of September this year, there's going to be a full lunar eclipse, making it even more mystic. And what this means is that the moon will appear blood red. Because of this lunar eclipse, the fact that it's in Pisces, which is a very mystical sign, what it means is that the intentions that you set on this moon will really take great effect. Any intentions that you have set previous to this moon that will come to fruition with a bang. It's a great moon to set your intentions, make moon water, or have a meeting. I do like a coven meeting on a full moon. Actually, I might change our coven meeting to be on the full moon. Watch out, coven, I might change you. This moon is known as the wine moon, the song moon, or the harvest moon. Now, harvest and wine, obviously why. Song is because we are singing a lot with thanks and also loads of satisfaction at the efforts of our hard labour throughout the year. The 9th of September is said to be the time when rowan trees are in their full bloom of berries. Now, rowan trees are incredibly protective. Rowan wood makes very, very good wands. They're very mystical, they're very protective, they're very clear. However, did you know that if you make your coffin from rowan wood, it means that you will not walk as the dead. So no ghosts for you if you lie in a rowan wood coffin. If you make a walking stick from rowan wood, you will be protected on your travels. And finally, if you dry the berries of rowan trees and keep them in your pocket, this will protect you from hexes, curses, and witches. So keep me away, keep some dry berries in your pocket. The 7th of September is also the date when hop picking is traditionally finished. Hops are beautiful, aren't they? Make you fall asleep, hence why if you picked too many hops, you might fall off your ladder and pass out because they do put you to sleep. Today, though, is the day to make yourself a garland of hops and hang it about in your home. If you do so, this will ensure that you have great luck for the coming year. Now, the 11th of September is thought to be the ancient Egyptians' New Year's date. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because the ancient Egyptians had one of the oldest calendars ever. I think it's only preceded by the Mesopotamian and the Sumerian calendars, but we don't know very much about them. So, the ancient Egyptian calendar of New Year's being on the 11th of September means that this is a great day for rebirth and renewal. Should you wish to start over anything, start it today, and you will find that you'll get great results from doing so. The 14th of September is Devil's Nutting Day. Now, whatever you do throughout September, do not pick your nuts on this day. Refrain from doing them. It is the time when the devil will go out and pick his chosen nuts for use during the coming year. And you don't want to cross paths with the devil because terrible things will happen if you do. Namely, he won't be picking just nuts. He might be picking stray souls such as yourself. You must also be warned about hazel trees when picking nuts. Now, hazel, if you pick their nuts when they're unripe, then this will cause great distress. Hazel's a very magical tree. People use divining rods cut from hazel trees, and so it's considered very magical, and so you must be very careful with it. Don't use nuts, therefore, that have come from a hazel tree picked before the 14th of September, because this is unlucky and even dangerous. Not quite sure how it's dangerous, but apparently so. The 16th of September is the day when you should start picking your apple crop, if they are ripe enough. Now, beware though, you don't want to eat too many unripe apples because they will give you tummy ache. And if you do get tummy ache, what you need to do is eat nettle seeds. Nettle seeds are very trendy at the moment. They're full of all sorts of good minerals and vitamins, and so why not eat some nettle seeds anyway? You might find that your digestive system will benefit. The 20th of September is the day when you should wear a lavender cap. Now, this is exactly as it sounds. You weave a cap from lavender and put it on your head, and then this will protect you from coming colds of winter. I suspect that the reason why it actually does this is because lavender is very purifying and cleansing. That's why you use it in your clothes. So I presume that by putting a lavender cap on your head, you're disinfecting yourself. The 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd are each of them weather lore divination days. The 20th will therefore tell you what weather's going to be like in October. The 21st will be November, and the 22nd will be December. So if they're fair or good or however they feel, make sure that you pay attention because then you'll know what's coming this winter. The 21st of September is also the day when you should shut your beehives up for winter. It is time to say goodbye to the bees, and when you shut them up, you must say to them, "I'm shutting you up for winter," otherwise they will be confused and distressed as to what's happening. Now, it is also the day where if you should find an acorn and you inscribe it with your wish, this acorn will then become a powerful token or talisman. For example, if you should inscribe a bee upon an acorn and then carry this around, this will make you very industrious. An owl is a symbol of wisdom, so if you put an owl on the acorn, you'll become wise. There are many different symbols to signify different wishes, so why not have a go? The 21st is also the night of the new moon, and this new moon is in Virgo. Now, astrologers believe that each new moon takes on the aspects of the astrological sign that it appears in. And because Virgo is all about balance, harmony, and home, these are the aspects that will work best with any intention set at this new moon. Virgo also governs health and organisation. So, should you wish to start thinking about, doing an autumnal clear out of that cupboard that you've been looking at and throwing things in for the last gosh knows how many years, perfect time to start it on this new moon. The 22nd of September is the day of the autumnal equinox, or Mabon. Now, of course, I will always do my own video for Mabon, so I'm not going to go into it too much here. I'm just going to give you a brief little overview of Mabon and, what we're going to do with it. Mabon was one of the most joyous of the harvest festivals. This was a huge deal for us, and we had altars and we had harvest suppers and we had all sorts of things happening until at the 1600s when the Puritans decided to put paid to that jollity. And it was then adopted by the church in only the 1850s or something. It's a very modern church adaptation of a pagan festival. So why not go back to the old style of Mabon, have a party, have an offering to the season? I personally am going to fill up my cornucopia with grapefruits, and it will be part of my offering table on Mabon. Why don't you do the same? I will do a Mabon video dedicated to all the traditions that happen around this time of year, but I just wanted to add one more thing, which is that from the time of the autumnal equinox, cooler weather is going to be expected. So get your jumpers out. I think you have to put your vests back on or cast ne'er a clout till your autumn's out, spring is out or whatever it is. You do the opposite. The 24th of September is the day that the sun enters the house of Libra. And as always, I want to read to you from the calendar of shepherds about the Libran man and the Libran woman. So let's have a look. The man born under Libra shall be mightily praised and honoured in the service of captains. He shall go to unknown places, and he shall keep to his own, and he shall not make a revelation in drink. So he won't get absolutely trolleyed and then tell all your secrets. That's probably a good thing. He will be married, but go from his wife, and he will not keep his promise. He shall be enriched by women and experience evil fortune, though many shall ask his counsel. He shall live 70 years after nature. Well, so he's not a trustworthy man, is the Libran man. Let's see what they say about the Libran woman. The woman shall be amiable and of great courage. She shall go to places unknown, and she shall be debonair and merry, rejoiced in by her husband. And if she not be wedded by 13, she will be chaste. 13 does sound a bit young. After 30 years old, she shall prosper the better and have great pays, and she shall live until 60. I reckon the person who wrote the Calendar of Shepherds' wife was a Libran, and that's why she's given such a beautiful write-up. Because if you're going to write a book and then you describe your wife as being dreadful, your marriage might not last that long, wouldn't it? The 28th of September is called Crack Nut Day. You know, the nutting theme that we've been going through. This is one of them. So you should eat a nut today and this will bring you luck. However, if you eat nuts today and stand in the church porch at midnight, you will see the wraiths of the people who are going to die pass through the porch of the church. I did actually do this last year. I did go and stand in the church porch, but I think I got my timings wrong because I don't think it was exactly midnight, which it must be, because I had to go and pick up some children and so couldn't really do it. But I stood quite close to midnight and I didn't see any wraiths. I am disappointed. The 29th of September is known as Michaelmas. Now, this is a big day in the Christian faith, but Michael himself, the angel that they're celebrating, was actually a much, much older tradition than the Christians had. He is a Christianized sun god, and they have him fighting Lucifer and casting him down to earth on this day, and Lucifer then falling on a blackberry bush, and so therefore being so cross with blackberries by hurting him as he fell, that he now spits on them on the 29th of September. So you should not pick blackberries after this date. St. Michael comes from very old rabbinic, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but the old pre-Jewish traditions. I mean, although he's worshipped heavily in the Christian faith, he was heavily worshipped by pagans before him. The dragon line, which is that line of energy, crosses from the coast of Norfolk in the east of England all the way down to the southwest coast in St. Michael's Mount, is dotted along with lots of churches dedicated to St. Michael, because where that energy line touches the earth, because it sort of does this, doesn't it? Bounces across the earth. Those places were huge pagan sites of worship. And when the Christians took over, they built churches on them instead. And those churches they dedicated to St. Michael, their Christianized sun god. It was a time of lots of goose fairs because goose was eaten on St. Michael's Day. It is a big feast day after all. But there is a tradition, and I think this came from the pagan, where you would sacrifice a goose to St. Michael on this day and scatter its blood in the four corners of your house. And this would give you protection over the coming winter and darkness. It is also the day when you should be able to see the fabled white hares fleeting across the countryside. Now, hares change their coat as the winter comes, and it's said that if they change their coat early on St. Michael's Day, then this hare is very special. If you capture this hare, you'll be able to get a wish, or it might be a witch. If you have any animals born on this day, it's considered extremely lucky for them, especially if you are a tortoiseshell cat. I think those are called calico cats in the States. I don't really know. If you know, tell me, because we call them tortoiseshell and they look like this. So, that's what we think of the tortoiseshell cat. They are extremely lucky on this day, and should you have one, it will possibly become your witch's familiar. It is quite a pagan day, this. There are certain wells and springs throughout the country of the UK where if you go to them and leave offerings at the wells or the springs, you will be cured of illnesses or your wish will be granted. It is a time of offerings to the wells. Finally, your harvest must be completed by this day. Your hay, your wheat, your grain, your corn harvest must be completed by this day. And once you've done so, take some bread and some beer out and leave it in the fields. This is a fertility ritual so that the fields will produce great crops next year. The spirits that you are appeasing today are called the field wights, and these need to be appeased with beer and bread in order that they don't bring misfortune and continue the field's fertility next year. Love to know what you think about which particular tradition that you're going to follow through, leave me a comment in below. If you want to learn more about anything to do with witchcraft, I've got the most wonderful witchcraft course on Patreon at the moment. Go to patreon.com/Ginny Metheral. It's quite cheap and cheerful, so I'm hoping it'll be accessible to all of you. Have a look, have a go. It's a really in-depth course and you'll become a witch in no time. Otherwise, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.